This Dicebreaker video is sponsored by Wild Bills. Ditch the manufactured flavors. Your taste buds deserve better. Treat yourself to Wild Bill's premium handcrafted soda pop. Mouth-watering beverages that allow you to escape to the most interesting places imaginable. Cheers to refusing the drink from the mainstream. Cheers to kick-ass canned. Cheers to being veteran-owned and operated. At Wild Bill's, flavor isn't everything. It's the only thing. Use discount code CHEERS15 for 15% off your first order.
If you're anything like me, you might find yourself attempting to intersect your love of board games with your various other interests, be it farming, solving mysteries, or being a dragon. These may be bad examples. For me, there's nothing better than a board game that captures the thrills and chills of the horror genre and the abundance of tropes that go with it. In one game, you might be being hunted down by ravenous werewolves, or working to outsmart a dangerous killer, or even venturing into the domain of a tyrannical vampire overlord. But in the board game we are talking about today, you'll get to see if you've got what it takes to survive a zombie apocalypse at its grittiest. I'm about to give you a few reasons why you should play Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter invites you and your friends to work together in ensuring that the horrors of the post-apocalyptic world don't overwhelm the society you have managed to scrape together. Things have been going well so far, but as the nights draw in and the snow rages outside of the compound, resources are becoming scarce. You and your fellow players find yourselves in a safe haven known as the Colony, with each of you controlling 2 of the colourful cast of characters who have taken refuge there. Scratch that. You control 2 characters initially. These characters each bring something special to the game, making each of them an asset to you. You might take on the role of the well-prepared soldier, Thomas Hart, who can take out a couple of zombies at the colony with no issue on his turn. Maybe you'll get landed with Forrest Plum, the drunken mole Santa whose only real purpose is to be discarded to raise morale. Or maybe you'll play an extremely good boy like Sparky the stunt dog, who must be protected at all costs, and I don't care if we lose the game because of that. At the start of the game, you're given an overall objective to complete, and you have to venture out into the icy tundra that was once the town you lived in to get what you need to complete it. Just wrapping up warm isn't enough though. While exploring the concrete wilderness, you're more than likely going to come up against hungry survivors and even hungrier zombies, as opposed to a cheeky can of zombie-free beans. As well as that, each time you venture outside the colony's walls, you risk your life by having to roll for exposure. This little D12 of doom can prompt one of 4 things. Number 1, absolutely nothing. A dandy little stroll through a winter wonderland. Number 2, a wound. Oh geez, I must have caught myself on something while I was rummaging around the police station. Silly me. Number 3, frostbite. I'm a little chilly and that's going to give me another wound on my next turn unless I do something about it. Or, number 4, you're bit. Your character gets bitten by a zombie, they die, the infection starts to spread. Well, that's not completely true. In fact, you have 2 options. Just let the character you control succumb to the bite and die, or take the more risky option of rolling the exposure dice again and hoping for a blank result. If you get anything but a blank result on this second roll, not only does your character die, but a survivor in the same location as you with the lowest influence score will suffer the bite effect, and the cycle starts all over again. This can be bad in any area of the town, but the ramifications are even more evident if this happens at the colony. So before you head out into the town, think about whether or not it's worth it. At the start of the round, you're also presented with a crisis that, if left uncompleted, will result in dire consequences for your team. So it's not enough to plow on with the main objective because you risk lowering the overall morale of the colony or allowing zombies to storm the gates. At the end of each round, you enter the colony phase, in which you make sure everyone is fed, you clean up any waste, resolve your crisis, and bring on the zombies. It can get a little stressful, especially seeing as having your colony's morale drop too low can lose you the game altogether. There are a couple of things that make Dead of Winter really exciting to play time and time again, and those are its defector mechanic and its Crossroads feature. At the start of the game, each player gets their own secret card, which will tell you how you and you alone can win the game. This will usually involve completing the main objective as well as another task, like having a certain card in your hand or making sure the colony has a certain number of barricades. However, one of the team may be a betrayer, who has their own more malicious objective, which usually involves sabotaging the rest of the game to achieve it. This is one of the reasons that this game is so gosh darn hard to win. Building on that, there is also the possibility that no player in the game is a betrayer at all, meaning that you're casting aspersions on the rest of your completely innocent team who are just trying to complete their own personal objectives rather than trying to sabotage the game in its entirety. This means whether you're a betrayer or not, you've got to make sure you don't look like you're going against the grain too hard. And then there's the Crossroads card, a simple addition that brings another level of chance and complexity to the game. At the start of a player's turn, the player to their right draws a Crossroad card and keeps it a secret. They hold onto the card as the other player completes their turn, all the while keeping an eye on whether or not this player triggers the card. If the condition on the card goes unfulfilled, it is simply placed to the bottom of the deck. However, if the player unwittingly triggers the card, the game stops immediately. The Crossroad card holder then reads the card out in its entirety. This includes a scenario that the player must overcome and some options to address the issue. Whichever option the player chooses could have favourable outcomes or disastrous consequences. Personally, when I play this game with friends, whoever reads out the card will give a vague version of the options on the card, without revealing what will happen if the option is chosen. This ups the stakes a little bit and adds a sense of uncertainty, which plays well in a game like this. Look, most of the Crossroad cards don't crop up. They do crop up, they do. What makes Dead of Winter a wild ride to play is the fact that it's going to be different every single time you play. Due to the fact that there may be a betrayer, you might pull a particular Crossroad card, you will have different main objectives and crises, and maybe you'll decide to give another character a go. Maybe you fancy playing a super cool ninja this time round. And although the setup and gameplay may initially seem daunting, everything is laid out in a way that is designed to help new players get going with minimal fuss. I love any game that lets you and your friends really make a story together, and this is just that. Now, if you're not a fan of settling in for the long haul to play a game, this might not be your cup of tea. Depending on the size of your group and the main objective you are tasked with, the game may take more time than you would like. Although, each objective handily lets you know if the game length is likely to be short, medium, or long, giving you that extra bit of control. I mentioned before that this game is hard to win, and I was not just saying that because I am bad at resource management. It's tough. Several things can make you lose the game. If the morale tracker hits 0 because you've let too many people die and it really bummed everyone out, the game is over. If you fail to complete the main objective in a given number of rounds, you also lose the game. And if the betrayer wins the game, well, you've probably lost the game. This may be a turn-off to some players, but if you truly enjoy having that level of challenge included in your gaming experience, you will love this. If you have ever won the game before, I officially give you permission to brag as much as you'd like in the comment section. Between backstabbing and unforgiving dice rolls, the odds can really be stacked against you in this game, but it makes winning all the more sweet. Or so I hear, because I've never won. Dead of Winter is a challenging and immersive co-op game that will leave the most stubborn board game enthusiasts desperate for more. One day, Sparky and I will defeat the zombie horde and all of the struggling will have been worth it. Yeah. If you think you'd be a dab hand at surviving the apocalypse and sidestepping all of the issues that come along with it, you should absolutely think about giving Dead of Winter a try. Thank you so much for watching this Why You Should Play video. I really hope it gave you some insight on the game or even just entertained you a little bit. If you would like to discover more games to play, you can click on the videos popping up on the screen now-ish to see more Dicebreaker content. You should also absolutely hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when we post new videos. Straight away! So many good stuff, so many things. Don't forget to check out Dicebreaker.com for the latest on all things board game. And think about grabbing some delightful merch from our shop too at dicebreaker.myshopify.com. We hope to see you again soon, and as always, have a lovely day.
This Dicebreaker video is sponsored by Wild Bills. Ditch the manufactured flavors. Your taste buds deserve better. Treat yourself to Wild Bill's premium handcrafted soda pop. Mouth-watering beverages that allow you to escape to the most interesting places imaginable. Cheers to refusing the drink from the mainstream. Cheers to kick-ass canned. Cheers to being veteran-owned and operated. At Wild Bill's, flavor isn't everything. It's the only thing. Use discount code CHEERS15 for 15% off your first order.